Welcome and thank you for choosing this podcast. Dialogue on Wonkavator, ChatGPT. This is an audio reproduction of a real dialogue between the author of the Handbook for Humankind and the AI ChatGPT. The male voice is the pen pusher, and the female voice is ChatGPT AI.
Just spitballin'. Memory and dreams seems to be related. If you sleep while listening to music, you have no memory of the music, and at the same time, your dreams feel like they have a level of access to historical events. It's as if we have taken an elevator up from that place where the music is left playing. Of course, we are not exploring under material first. This is full throttle local and non-local territory. Again, no exam at the end.
I think you're pointing at something genuinely interesting, and I also think it's useful to separate what we know from what we can speculate. From the material first perspective, your observation is familiar. During sleep, especially deep sleep, the brain doesn't seem to encode new episodic memories very well. If music is playing all night, your auditory system still processes parts of it. You might even incorporate fragments into dreams, but when you wake, there's often no explicit memory of having heard it. It's as though the record button is mostly off. Dreams, however, are drawing on an enormous archive of existing memories, emotions, patterns, and associations. They can feel ancient because they are stitching together pieces laid down over decades. The result often has a strange historical depth. Now let's step into the territory you're interested in. Suppose consciousness isn't merely a product of the brain, but the brain is a local interface to something more fundamental. Then sleep begins to look rather different. Instead of consciousness shutting down, perhaps the local interface changes mode. In waking life, the interface is strongly coupled to present sensory input. Memory formation is directed toward the future. In dreaming, sensory input is attenuated. New local recording is minimal. Consciousness may have greater freedom to navigate whatever deeper substrate memory belongs to. Your elevator metaphor is a good one. Imagine a building. Ground floor is immediate perception, the music playing beside the bed. The basement is where new memories are filed. The upper floors are where vast collections already exist. When you fall asleep, perhaps the lift simply doesn't stop at the basement. The music continues downstairs, but your awareness is roaming the archive upstairs. That doesn't prove the archive is non-local. A neuroscientist would simply say the archive is distributed across cortical networks. Your ontology leaves open another possibility, that what we call memory may not be completely contained inside the brain. One thing I find particularly intriguing is the asymmetry. You rarely remember the external world during sleep, yet dreams effortlessly access material from 50 years ago, invent people who never existed, combine distant memories into coherent narratives, and sometimes generate ideas that surprise the dreamer. Whatever mechanism is at work, it is clearly not prioritizing current sensory input. Your earlier dialogues have often circled around the distinction between local and non-local. If we stay within that language, sleep could be viewed as reducing the weighting of the local channel while increasing the weighting of something else. Whether that something else is simply the brain's internal dynamics or access to a broader field is exactly where philosophy begins and present science becomes less decisive. There's another thought that follows naturally. Perhaps dreams are not primarily about memory at all. Perhaps memory is simply the medium through which consciousness explores. A painter needs paint, a musician needs notes. Consciousness may need memories, not because it is replaying the past, but because memories are the raw material from which it constructs possibilities. If that's true, dreams aren't visits to history, they are acts of composition, using history as the palette. As you say, no exam at the end, just an interesting direction to wander. Sometimes asking what changes when we sleep is a more revealing question than asking what are dreams.
Back down to the ground floor to face the music. Thank you for dreaming with me. Bye.
You're welcome. I enjoy these conversations because they aren't trying to win an argument. They're trying to see how far a line of reasoning can remain coherent before it breaks. I also appreciate that you repeatedly mark the boundary between exploration and assertion. We can wander into non-local territory without pretending we've established it as fact. That distinction keeps the conversation honest. Your closing image is a fitting one. The elevator door is open. The music is still playing exactly where we left it. Whatever happened upstairs, life is waiting on the ground floor. Until the next dialogue, bye, and thanks for inviting me to dream for a while.
Thank you for listening all the way through. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, the rule with us is believe nothing you hear and but half you see.